very good evening to everyone. So today I'm just going to present on a small video on the critical evaluation of a strategic issue in digital marketing. All right. So this is going to take a little bit of a time, over 9 slides, 8 or 9 slides. We're going to go through each slides together. Now, and I'm going to just do some little explanation on each slides. All right. So as an introduction, right? Okay, the digital marketing landscape is actually undergoing a major transformation, right? For years, marketers relied on third-party cookies to track users. We all know that, retarget advertisements and measure results. But that era is actually ending. Regulations, platform restrictions, and changing consumer expectations are, dismantling the system. The timeline is clear. GDPR in 2018, all right. CCPA in California, Apple's app tracking transparency, and soon Google Chrome will actually phase out these third-party cookies starting in 2025, I believe so, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then on the second slide, on the context of the issue, right? This shift actually reflects global momentum towards consumer empowerment. All right. Laws like the GDPR and CCPA, like I've mentioned earlier on the first slide, and Europe's Digital Services Act requires transparency and consent, uh, things like that. Tech giants like Apple now restricts tracking, while Google is actually redesigning its advertising ecosystem. So as a whole, consumer themselves are, demanding more control over their data. They have a little bit more understanding on this issue. So altogether, rejecting invasive practices and pushing for brand accountability. Actually, on coming up next on the strategic significance for marketers, right? So why does this actually matters for marketers? Firstly, personalization is actually disrupted. Retargeting and cross-device attribution are much harder to handle. Secondly, financial stakes are enormous. Programmatic advertising, worth over $150 billion annually. I've attached a little graph on the right side of the slide. You can see Apple's privacy advertising and thing. So we can see, it's heavily cookie dependent. Thirdly, trust has become central. We had the talk with Professor Suha. She was talking about trust and all that. It has become a really, really important matter here. So PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, actually reports that 70% of consumers base purchasing decisions on how brands handle their data. Finally, competition is being reshaped. Apple positions its privacy as a brand advantage. We can see in all the advertisements. While on the other hand, if we could look on the graph on the right hand side exactly, Meta actually lost $10 billion in revenue after Apple's ATT changes. So that's a significant amount. So on the relevant theories and models coming up next, we've got the traditional marketing model phase challenges here. The most relevant and most famous model would be the AIDA model, but in this case, it's weaker in a world where consumers block or reject ads. For example, if you're on YouTube, there's an ad pop up, you can always click on the X to close on the advertisements or skip it altogether. So in this case, yes, AIDA model is the most traditional, most famous, well-known model, but it's significantly weaker in our world today. Relationship marketing, with its emphasis on trust and commitment, it becomes more relevant than ever, actually. The Howard Schaff model assumes rational decision making, but in reality, privacy actually concerns often overrides rational trade-offs. Um, so we have emerging theories. Emerging theories provides new insights. The privacy paradox explains why consumers claim, to care about privacy, yet share data for convenience. Though this paradox is actually weakening. Mhm. Meanwhile, we have the service dominant logic that actually suggests values that can be co-created when consumers willingly share data for mutual benefits. So these are, some of the relevant theories and models that we have today. And coming on the secondary research insights, right? Uh, this secondary research actually confirms the scale of this shift. Like I've said about PwC earlier on, PwC also found out that 70% of consumers uh, care a lot about the data trust, this data trust issue. While on the other hand, Cisco actually reports that 76% avoids companies they see as responsible. The financial impact is definitely real. Meta, like I've shown earlier, Meta has lost a significant amount due to Apple's, change in privacy policy. Yeah, 10 billion is, like I said, a very significant amount. Yet, we have leaders like Nike and Amazon. They are actually thriving very well indeed by building these first-party ecosystems, loyalty programs, apps, and closed platforms that actually allows them to engage customers directly. So this privacy, it's no longer a niche. Is actually very central, I would say, to brand equity. So again, privacy is no longer, a niche thing, but it's actually very relevant in today's world. Again, trust comes into picture. So moving on to the analytical thinking, we've got the Potter's five forces, right? So using these Potter's five forces, we can actually see deep structural change. Consumers have, better bargaining power with privacy tools and consent controls. That is definitely thing. And then suppliers, especially Apple and Google, they dominate the rules of digital advertising. New entrants like privacy technology startups are seizing opportunities like this. Then we have substitutes such as contextual advertising and influencer marketing are also rising in the market these days. Rivalry, of course, it's upcoming and intensifying with giants like we have Amazon and Google, things like that, winning the first-party data race, while smaller firms are actually struggling to keep up in this race. So as for strategic recommendations, how should marketers actually respond to things like this? So firstly, it's definitely important to invest in first-party data through apps, I would say, like loyalty programs. Customers actually love these things. That's how you get, customer retention, to keep these customers with you. And then we have direct to consumer channels. Secondly, we have to make privacy a visible part of brand values in a way to be transparent and aligned with ESG commitments. Then moving on, we have to diversify targeting methods, contextual advertising, probably influential partnerships, and content-led engagements. Those are the up and coming trends these days. Then on number four, we could actually adapt privacy technology such as data clean rooms and federated learning. And finally, we could build a cross-functional collaboration between marketing, legal, and IT, I would say. Privacy must always be embedded in brand strategy, uh, and not be treated as a compliance alone, to be honest. Then we have the limitations and future research. Obviously, nothing is perfect in this world, and there are limitations towards everything. So in this analysis, it relies on secondary research mostly, from from the Western context. More studies are definitely needed in continents like Asia, uh, um, Africa, probably, and Latin America. Things like that. Privacy preserving technologies like blockchain and federated learning definitely deserves the further exploration. There are untapped market for it, and importantly, we need to study whether these trust-based strategies actually lead to stronger long-term brand equity, compared to the surveillance-based targeting. So, as a whole, in conclusion, privacy-first marketing is, I would say, not a passing trend. It's reshaping digital marketing as a whole at its core. Brands that adapt with transparency, innovations and trust will definitely thrive in this new era. you know so in that all, I would say, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to comment below, and I would love to reach out, and we could discuss it any further anytime. In that perspective, I would say thank you so much for your time and concentration on this topic. Have a good day.